Hi, I'm Shelley. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be I guess, all the books that I bought this whole year. I was just going to do the last couple of months, but the majority of the books I bought this year was probably bought since August. There was only like maybe a small stack that I bought before then, so I thought I would go through all the books that I bought this year and then count up how many. I haven't even counted them yet. So I'll count up the total and then count up how many of them I actually read this year. See how many I've left to read. So I'm just going to go through them rather quickly. I'm not going to be describing them or anything. I'll just go through them. Maybe just say what genre they're in, something like that. And I'll put them in a couple different piles, and then we'll see from there how many I actually read. There is a couple that I think I read them, but I must have donated them. So I just got a couple books put in the pile just to mark them out. So I'll just start at a random spot. This one, the rom-comers, well, that's romance. I bought this one this year from Book of the Month. I'm hoping, I haven't read this one yet, but I'm hoping to this month. So I'll put that one on one side. Everyone on this train is a suspect is a murder mystery, and I have read this one and really enjoyed it. The Teller of Small Fortunes, I just recently got in November, and I haven't had a chance to read this one yet from Book of the Month. And Pictures of You, this one I also got from Book of the Month in November, and I haven't read that one yet either. So that one will go over there. This one, Sweetland, is I guess, historical fiction, Newfoundland book. And I have read this one. I really enjoyed it. Death du Jour is by Kathy Wrights. And I have read this one. Crossbones by Kathy Wrights. I have not read this one yet. This is book, I'm not even sure which book this one is, because I have been collecting them. So I plan on reading them all, the whole series. I'm not even sure which one this one is. I think it might be number 8, but I have not read this one yet. This one I only paid a couple dollars for at a thrift store. Let's see, and this one here, To Be Taught If Fortunate, is science fiction by Becky Chambers. And this is just a short novella. It's only like 153 pages, and I have read that one. No Exit by Taylor Adams. That one is a thriller mystery. I have not read this one yet. The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook is, well, it's a witchy book. I read this one last month and really enjoyed it. Haven by Emma Donoghue, I read earlier this year. I think I read it back in January. This one is historical fiction, and I really enjoyed this one. Let's see. Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Shauna Maguire. This one was the 9th book in the Wayward Children series, and I did read this one. I read this one way back in January before it came out. Let's see. Emily Wild's Map of the Other Lands is book 2 in the Emily Wild series, and I have not read this one yet. This is volume 0. It's a book of short stories from Book of the Month, and I have not read this one yet. Let's see. Hisashi Kashiwai, Kamigawa Food Detectives, translated from Japanese. And I have read this one. It's like a mystery food detective book. Really enjoyed that one. Let's see. The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. I think that one was book 4. And I have not read that one yet. That one's more science fiction. And Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers. This one is book 3. I have not read this one yet either. I have read the first 2, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet and A Closed and Common Orbit. I've read those 2. And let's see. Fatal Voyage by Kathy Reichs. I'm not sure which book this one is. And this is also in the, I don't think I said the Temperance Brennan series. I watched the television series that these books are based on. So I decided to pick up the books and start reading them. This one is The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer, or Schaffer. And I have not read that one yet. This one is, it's inspired by C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, a wild and wondrous novel and fairy tale for grown-ups who still knock in the back of wardrobes. So I'm really looking forward to reading that one. Let's see. The God of the Woods. I have read that one. This one is, I guess it's a mystery. It's summer camp, 2 different timelines, and children have disappeared. This is really good. See this one, Agatha Christie, Death Comes as the End. I've been collecting her books, and I have not read this one yet. River Thieves by Michael Crummy. It's another book set in Newfoundland. I have not read this one yet. I picked this one up for $5 from a thrift store. Let's see, Emily Eptich, Murder on Painted Place. This is another one set in Newfoundland and one I'm hoping to read before the end of the month. Let's see, Ruth Ware, One Perfect Couple. I read this one earlier this year. This one is a mystery thriller. I really enjoyed this one. I think I've read all of Ruth Ware's books. Usually as soon as they come out, I usually pick the book up. The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. I have read that one. And on the back it says, solve the murder to save what's left of the world. And I found this one really interesting. I did really enjoy it. Let's see. The Treasure Hunters Club. I have read that one a couple months ago and really enjoyed it. All This and More by Peng Shepherd. Read this one and enjoyed it. Shadow of Night, second book in the All Souls trilogy. I have read this one. Finley Donovan Rolls the Dice. This is the 4th, I think it's the 4th book in the series. And I've really enjoyed this series. It's really funny and crazy. It's really good. Let's see, where to next? This one is just a placeholder for Canadians Who Innovate. Canadians Who Innovate was a book that I received from Simon & Schuster Canada. I did read it, and I really enjoyed it. and that was a nonfiction. And this one is a placeholder for the haunting season, Ghostly Tales for Long Winter Nights. It's a bunch of short stories, ghost stories, and I read that one probably back in January, I think it was, and it was okay, and I donated after. And this one is another book of short stories from Book of the Month Club, and I have not read this one yet either. Let's see. I'll start over here. The Return of Ellie Black. This one is like a mystery thriller, and I have read this one and really enjoyed it. Sophie Kinsella, What Does It Feel Like? It's a short novel. I have read this one and really enjoyed it. The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I have read this one and enjoyed it. Richard Osman. I got this one last month or the month before from Book of the Month Club. I have not read this one yet. I have a couple other of his books that I have bought, and I haven't read those yet either. I'll show those in a minute. That one. The Woman in the Library by Sulari Gentile. I have read that one and enjoyed it. It's a murder mystery. Demon Copperfield by Barbara Kingsolver. I think I bought this one at a thrift store for a couple dollars back, I think it was almost a year ago now. I think it was January or February of this year. And I still have not read this one yet. Let's see. Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam. I bought this one for like $7.99 at the thrift store. I have not read this one yet. The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. I have read this one. It's like a fantasy novel, and I really enjoyed this one. All right. The Bookish Life of Nina Hill by Abby Waxman. I picked that one up in the thrift store for a couple dollars. I have not read this one yet. The Lola Quartet by Emily St. John Mandel. I have not read this one yet. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. I read this one back in October, I think it was. Romance, I enjoyed that one. Vera Wang's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. I read this one earlier this month and really enjoyed it. That one's a mystery. Don't You Forget About Me by Mahari McFarlane. I picked this one up for a couple dollars at a thrift store a few months ago. I have not read this one yet. See, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I picked this one up at the thrift store, I think at the same time actually, for a couple dollars, and I have not read this one yet. I have read one of her other books, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and enjoyed it. I have not read this one yet. Nights in Rodanthe by Nicholas Sparks. I have read this one a few years ago, and I really liked the book. I'm not really into Nicholas Sparks, but I did like this book, and I did like the movie. So when I saw the book for a couple dollars at a thrift store, I picked it up. So I have read that one. Let's see, The Crescent Moon Tea Room. That was the cozy, witchy book I read back in October. I read that one, really enjoyed it. Let's see, All of You to Death is a cozy mystery. It's part of the Tourist Trap Cozy Mystery series, and I have read this one. And these two, The Thursday Murder Club and The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. I have not read these. I picked this one up actually in a thrift store for a couple of dollars. I got this one at Chapters, and I'm hoping to read these come next month, or at least the first one anyway. I've heard that series is good, so I'm looking forward to reading that. The Road Years, a memoir, continued Rick Mercer. He's a Newfoundland persona, and this is part of his memoir, and I haven't read that one yet. The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. I actually just finished that one a few days ago, and really enjoyed this one. Let's see. Grave Secrets by Kathy Wrights. I have not read that one yet. I'm not sure what book that one is in the series, 4th or the 5th, but I haven't read this one yet. The Book of Speculation by Erica Swiler. I got that one at a thrift store as well, and I have not read this one yet, but it does seem interesting. Christina Lauren, The Soulmate Equation. I have not read this one. I bought this one at a yard sale this summer. I have not read this one yet. This one is, I guess, romance. I read that one. Leigh Bardugo, The Familiar. I have read this one. I read this one earlier this year when it came out. I've read, I collect all her books, and I have read all of her books and really enjoy her writing. Fire and Bones by Kathy Reichs. This was her most recent in the Temperance Brennan series. And I received this one back in July, I think it was, by Simon & Schuster, Canada. Early review copy, and I did really enjoy this one. 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. I have read this one, and I really enjoyed this one. It's not even 100 pages, but I really, really like this book, and I do want to read it again soon, I think. Everyone in My Family is Killed Soon by Benjamin Stevenson. That was the first book in the mystery series, and I really like that one. I read this one. Let's see, Before We Forget Kindness by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is Before We Forget Kindness is the 5th book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. It's a cafe tucked away within a small back alley in Tokyo is a cafe that has been serving carefully brewed coffee for more than 100 years. And if you sit at a certain table, a certain chair, you can go back in time, but only until the coffee gets cold. And I've really enjoyed this series, and I usually pre-order the book when I know the new one is coming out, and I've really enjoyed it. The Borrow a Bookshop Holiday. I think this is the first book in a series. I'm not sure. I read that somewhere. I picked it up for a couple of dollars at a thrift store. So I think it's just like a light romance type book. It's said for fans of Jenny Colgan and Tricia Ashley. So I am a big fan of Jenny Colgan, so I thought I'd pick it up for only a couple of dollars. And this one, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I already read this one. This is a 10th anniversary special edition, and I picked this one up recently, and I'm planning on rereading this one along with the other couple of books that came after it. It's loosely a series. There are like connecting events and people in the 3 books, so I'm planning on rereading this one again. Let's see, Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret by Benjamin Steven. That's the 3rd one. It just recently came out, and I read this one a few days ago, or earlier this month. Murder mystery happening at Christmas, and I really like this one. Down to the last two. The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. I bought this one earlier in the year. I watched the miniseries, I guess, that was on TV a couple of years ago and really liked it. And I have yet to read this book. I'm hoping to read it soon. And the last one, The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. I picked this one up at a thrift store, I think, for a couple dollars. And I think this is just fiction, I think, mostly. I have not read this one yet, so hoping to soon. So now I guess we'll count them all up and see how many I have read and how many I haven't read. The pile looks almost even. Let's see. I will count how many I have read first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So there's 35 that I have read. Let's see how many I haven't read. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So if I have counted correctly, I have read 35 and not read 31. So I bought or received 66 books this year and read barely over half. So I think next year, later, maybe the first week of January, I'll do a video, talk about my reading plans, because I really need to be reading the books that I already have, and next year I'm going to be cutting back, I think, on the number of books that I purchase, except for like certain authors when I have new books out. I do tend to purchase them, like V.E. Schwab, for instance, has a book coming out next year, and Shannon McGuire's book in January. I have that one pre-ordered, and the new Finlay Donovan. The newest one comes out in March or April, maybe, and I have that one pre-ordered. So that's it for now. Let me know if you've read any of these books, or if you're interested in hearing any more about any of these books. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.